And for more on this, we are now being joined by CEO of Gulf State Analytics and Professor of Georgetown University, Giorgio Cafiero from Washington, D.C. Welcome to World DNA, Mr. Cafiero.
Good to be with you.
First up, what do you make of Trump's latest suggestion where he wants Palestinians to be displaced to neighboring countries like Jordan and Egypt? And how do you perhaps see Trump executing such a plan with both the countries clearly rejecting the idea?
Yeah, well, first of all, this is obviously an idea that the Israeli right has been advocating for many, many years, this notion that Jordan is really where the Palestinian state should exist. As I said, for decades, far-right Israeli politicians have called for this. When it comes to the recent remarks that came from Trump, we always have to wonder whether or not Trump is sort of speaking off the cuff, or if this is actually related to a policy that his administration plans to implement. Not always clear. What I sort of think is that probably Trump is trying to set a certain tone that worries actors in the region, including the Palestinians and the other Arab states. And this also comes in the aftermath of him saying things or doing things that, frankly, have worried the Israeli government. I think this is sort of part of Trump's strategy, and I think he's trying to create certain conditions that will make it easier for him to ultimately, at the end of the day, come across as a peacemaker. If this is going to work, I do not know. I certainly think it's very irresponsible for him to just sort of casually advocate massive ethnic cleansing. But with Trump, he's always unpredictable, and he's always going to make these kinds of remarks, and it's not always easy to know what to make of them.
Mr. Cafiero, as of now, of course, it's an idea that has been floated. It has been rejected all the same. If we were to just take a little further from that, you feel it's a window into what perhaps Trump has in mind for Gaza? And also, if that plan was to, I'm just considering a situation where Egypt and Jordan would have agreed to this, what happens next? Is there a plan to essentially look after the Gaza Strip? And in one of the comments, Trump had also mentioned that Gaza is an excellent location. It has excellent temperature. It's right by the sea, and it has coasts as well. Is there a larger plan to get Gazans out and perhaps convert this into something else?
Well, I think it's just important to address a really important point here. For Egypt and Jordan, a plan like this is an absolute non-starter. It's important for your viewers to appreciate the historical context here, given what happened with the Nakba in 1947, 1948. That was an episode that was not only extremely painful for the Palestinians, but just sort of the Arab countries at large, especially those countries that absorbed the Palestinian refugees back in the ethnic cleansing of 1947, 1948. If there were to ever be a plan like that Egypt or Jordan would agree to, that would likely fuel a tremendous amount of political instability and social unrest in those countries. The leadership in both Egypt and Jordan do not want to deal with such a backlash within their own borders. So the idea of either the governments in Cairo or Amman agreeing to that, it would be just unimaginable. That is something that neither of those governments could ever sign up for. This is not a realistic plan whatsoever.
We hear your point. Professor Giorgio Cafiero, thank you so much for joining us here on World DNA. Pleasure speaking with you.
Good to be with you.